Hi everyone, and welcome to Moonstone Makes. My name is Tommy. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as DynamiteTrujillo. Thank you for being here. Today is a really foggy autumn Monday in October, here on the Northern California coast where I'm coming to you from. Thank you for being here. This is another video where I talk about everything that I have been making. I have some knitting and some crochet and some finished objects and some coffee. So cheers. Where to begin? Happy autumn. Happy season of the knitter, or whatever. Today is a Monday, as I said, and both of my kids are in school, which is really cool. Lucy is in first grade right now. She is 6. She's my daughter, and my son River, he is now in preschool a few days a week, and today is one of the days that he is in preschool and I am not at work, and I am happily sitting here talking to you. So thanks for joining me on this, my day of offs, my day off. Okay, so yeah, that's been cool lately. Also, just in case you're curious, I'm gonna tell you what I have on my nails, which is something I've never done before. I've always really loved nail polish, but I only fairly recently, I want to say in the last, I think last summer, so last season, not even that long ago, I discovered that there's indie nail polish. Did you know that? I didn't really know that. But there's this whole indie nail polish, rabbit hole, and I fell down it. And so now I'm excited to show you what I've got on my nails. So I'm going to do that because it's my video and I can do what I want. So here is my cool kind of Halloween-y manicure. I have also been watching lots of nail polish videos, so now I'm all interested in that. This one is by Cirque colors. They're like a bigger indie brand. I actually don't know if they're indie. They're like a maybe more just like a small brand or something. This is Cirque colors, and this polish is called Golden Nights. And it's like a black jelly nail polish with gold flakies. I know the terminology now. On this hand, I like to paint each hand a different color because I have a lot of nail polish now, and I like to use it as much as I can, and I also like how weird it is to have 2 different color nail polishes. So I'm not great at showing it because, I don't know, I don't have nail polish lighting or whatever. But this is Rogue Lacquers, and this is in the colorway. It's not a colorway. It's in the color Ghost Town. And it's like a gray, crelly with a copper flaky. Look at me! Those are nail polish words, and I know them. Okay, anyway, let's move on. I like my nail polish. Okay, thanks for looking at my nail polish. That was cool. I feel like I'm in a shadow here. I'm gonna move you a little bit so that it's not a shadow. Okay, is that better? I think that might be better. Hi. It's been a while since I've done this. Can you tell? I feel like I'm really good at it still. Let's talk about my finished objects. I have some finished objects. It's been, I don't know how long since my last video, but I have gotten my inspiration back for knitting and crochet. Like a lot. It's really come back since my last video or whatever. And I've been watching a lot of crafting YouTube again, which kind of, when I go into a knitting slump, my consumption of knitting and crochet YouTube also slumps. Like I don't have any desire to watch it anymore. But since late summer, I've been really hardcore getting back into knitting and crochet YouTube, and it's really fun. I've discovered so many channels that I had no idea existed. There are such huge knitting and crochet YouTube channels that I'm just like, I've never heard of any of these before, but I love them. It's so fun to watch all these new people, and well, they're not new. They've been around for a long time. I've been out of it, I guess. So that's been really inspiring. I am someone who's heavily inspired by other people doing the things that I want to do. So I've been loving that. I'm not going to just think of anybody else. I want to tell you who I've been watching, but I can't. This doesn't quite work as well as it used to. So maybe if I think of people as I talk. Anyway, let's show you my first finished object. It's a pair of socks. It's kind of a funny pair of socks. So this is Desert Vista Dyeworks in the I Love Lucy colorway. It's the Viso base, which I think is like a 75-25 superwash merino nylon. And it's a self-striping colorway. And it's not really supposed to look like this, but this is what it looks like. So it's a red, white, like sky blue, and lavender. That's supposed to be lavender. Let's see, is there a better example of the lavender? There it is, lavender. And they knit up great. But they totally bled in the wash. So I did a cuff down like I normally do, 64 stitch cast on with a 2x2 rib for the cuff, and then a stockinette leg. And I decrease 4 stitches overall before I get to the heel flap. So I do like one here and one on the other side, and then one here and then one on the other side to get to 60 stitches. And it's a heel flap and gusset with a slip stitch heel and a toe. One of those regular toes where you do the decreases and then it's a toe. And then I washed it. I don't typically like wash my socks the way you typically would wash and block a knitted piece. I usually just put them in the washing machine. And that's how I wash my hand knit socks. And it's the only hand knit thing that I wash like that. I don't put anything else in the washing machine. But socks, I do. I definitely wash my socks in the washing machine, unless they are non-superwash. In that case, I don't. I wash them by hand. But these bled. These totally bled. As you can see, it's like a murder mystery up in here. So, yeah. I'll show you the yarn and what it's like supposed to look like. I'm not like too sad about it. I don't know. I don't know. It's a bummer that it bled like that, but I'm really not too upset. So this is the cake, and it's fingering weight yarn, and these are my finished socks. Here's the other one. I have worn them a couple times. I'm just not, I don't know. It's fine. I'm still gonna wear them. This one is less splotchy than the other one. This one just kind of looks like there's a pink stripe instead of a white stripe. This one's like a little splotchier. So, I don't know. I don't know if it would have, I doubt it. I think it still would have bled if I'd have washed them by hand with like Eucalan or soak or something. Maybe I would have noticed right away and pulled them out and they wouldn't have like stained like this. I don't know. But I would say lesson learned, but I don't think I'm going to treat my future socks any differently. This is the only sock that's ever done this to me, so yeah, that happened, but it's fine. I've still been wearing them. I finished them a little while ago. I've worn them a couple times, and I still have been washing them in the washing machine, and they haven't changed since that first time, but it's fine. Finished pair of self-striping socks. And that's that. That's my sock thing. Finished object. I have another finished object. I have two. They're matching finished objects. And they look like this. And then if you open them, they look like this. So what are those? I don't know. Can you tell? They're mice. These are mice in trash cans. So my children have these little squeezy toys. They're like it's like a squishy toy where it's a trash can, and when you squeeze it, a possum pops out of one and a really scary looking cat pops out of the other one. We got them from the hardware store and they love them. And they asked if I could crochet them a version. So I did. I wish I could show you the other trash can, the actual toys. I don't know, maybe later I'll go find them. But anyway, so as you do, I went on the internet and I found a trash can amigurumi crochet pattern. And I actually found a possum amigurumi crochet pattern, but my children asked that they be mice. So I kind of changed it up a little bit maybe to make it look, and I actually think I crocheted exactly the pattern and it's just a mouse instead of a possum. So the trash can, I used Tom Daly's like Michael's yarn. It's Lion Brand Made with Love, the cottony one. And it's a worsted weight cotton acrylic blend. And this is what I used for everything in both the trash can and the mice. This colorway I didn't use for anything, but I actually bought one of every color in this yarn for some reason. And this is the colorway Flaming Amber. I like this colorway, but I don't know. This is just the one I grabbed to show you the yarn. So there are like two different silver colorways or gray colorways. I used the lighter one for one kid and the darker one for the other kid. I don't remember whose this is. But the trash can pattern is called Trash Can Amigurumi by Just Stitched. And it's a free pattern. And it was on a blog, I believe. I followed the pattern. This part right here was a huge pain to crochet, and I really disliked doing it. Like I told my kids, this is gonna be done in like a day. Like this is gonna be so easy. I'm gonna have it done so fast. The trash can for each of these, just here to here, took me like a few days each because this pattern sucked. Like the stitch sucked, not the pattern. It was like alternating crochet, one single crochet, and then the next one was crochet with the loop down below or something like that. I don't quite remember, but I ended up having to use like 2 crochet hooks, like my regular one I was using, which I think is a 3.5 millimeter. Possibly, I could be wrong. And then a much smaller one, like a teeny one, like this, to go into that stitch below and pull it up and then put it on my other crochet hook. And it took so long and it was so annoying. And then I crocheted the lid according to the pattern, but my daughter had the brilliant idea of attaching it to the trash can so that they didn't lose the lid. So good on her for that. And then these mice, it's the Quick Possum Amigurumi by Yarn and Wobbles? Yarn and Wobbles? That's what my handwriting looks like. I don't know if that's right, but it'll have been on the screen. And this one's Rivers. He asked for gold and brown with pink accessories. I guess feet and tail and nose aren't accessories, but you know what I mean. I use safety eyes. And then Lucy's, she asked for red and pink with a gold neckband. And that's hers. So that's what we got. Trash can with a mouse living inside. ×2. One for each kid. Okay, the last thing I finished is some Handspun. So this is it. I love it. I spun this on my Ladybug, my Shocked Ladybug spinning wheel, which is my spinning wheel that I have, and I love the Ladybug. This was some Hello Yarn fiber. It's BFL. The colorway is called Still Air. And it's 121 grams, and I got 370 yards. And this was the July 2024 club colorway. I have been on Hello Yarn's like club waiting list for, I don't know, a really long time. And I got an email saying that it was open, which it's kind of rarely ever open, like back in the summer. And I signed up. And I've gotten like 4, I think, shipments so far. No, maybe 3. I don't know, 3 or 4 shipments so far. And it's really beautiful fiber. I think I had only ever used it once before from like a D-stash. And it's really nice. I love the colors in this. I feel like the colors are a little kind of weird on camera because it's so dark and gray here. It's kind of hard to see. But they're so pretty. I'm not going to stay in the club for too long. I'll probably cancel pretty soon because I don't need to like build up that much fiber. But I have been really, really enjoying spinning lately. How about that? Is that better? Let me go away. Look at it. There it is. It's very Barber Pole-y. It's like mauves and greens. And I'm very excited about this. These days, anytime I spin anything, I always want to make it into granny squares. So I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but maybe. Maybe. Okay. That's it for my finished object. Oh, no, it's not. I finished a sweater. I'm wearing it. Okay, my last finished object is this. It's actually a vest. So this is the Bifurca Vest by Teddy Looksack, which she designs under Teddy's Knit Garden. And this is a really interesting construction for a colorwork vest. I'll show you in just a second, but first I'm going to tell you what yarn I used. I used this, which is BC Garn Samia Pura, and it's 100% organic wool. It is a sport weight, and this is undyed. I also used for the contrast color BC Garn as well. It's Samia Melange, and this is in the colorway 12. Color 12. So the difference between these two yarns, this is 12, is that they're the same exact yarn, but the melange line is dyed and the pure line is undyed. So these are the two yarns I used. This is the yarn that was called for in the pattern, and in a rare moment I decided I wanted to do that, so I bought it, and yeah. And I pretty much did it almost exactly in the same colorways as the pattern sample. So there's that. Now let me show you the vest. Okay, here it is. So I did the second to smallest size, and it's really cool. It's the same front and back. There's no difference. So I did sew in a little like indicator in the back of the contrast color yarn just so that I knew that was the back. Gosh, yeah, the construction's really cool. If you have the pattern, she links to a video where she kind of walks you through the whole construction. But pretty much you cast on the entirety of the neckline, and it ends up being like a big rectangle of a lot of stitches. And then you just go around and do this entire neckline chart, which is a really, really cool colorwork pattern. It's floral and it's kind of berry-y, and it's really, really cool. And then from there, you have this whole like colorwork rectangle yoke-y thing, and then you like leave all your stitches on hold, but all on separate like holders. And I don't have any like nice cord, and I don't like using yarn as stitch holders because for me it's hard to get it back on the needle if it's on yarn because the stitches tighten up too much. So I had every section of this on hold on different cables. It was such a pain in the ass to like knit each, because you end up knitting it in sections. Like you pick up here on the side, and the sides are knit from the colorwork section out and from the colorwork section out, and then they're grafted here. So I ended up having a whole bunch of just like dangly cables, some with needles, some with stitch holders, and it was so annoying, but it was fine. I got through it. I lived. It did make me realize I need proper barber cord, which I believe is what it's called. I have this old school try it on cord, cable, whatever, and it does not work. I bought it like way back in my like early, I don't know, like 2014 or something. I found out about it, and it's called try it on tubing, and it's never worked for me. It like, I don't know, I think it's too thick, and no matter what I've ever tried to use it for, I like put it on my needle to slip all my stitches off, and the tubing is so thick that no stitch has ever gone over the tubing. So I've always just written that whole technique off as like not working for me, but I then started hearing people talk about another more specific kind of cord called barber cord, so I ended up looking it up, and now I have since bought some. I haven't gotten it yet, but I think that's going to be really nice because I do, like I said, I like putting held stitches on an actual cable because I don't like using waste yarn, and so I think this cord is going to help me out a lot. Plus for trying it on. Anyway, that aside, and then once you connect the sides, you pick up some stitches. You pick up stitches under here, but all of these stitches here were left on hold, and then you just knit ribbing down. And then you kind of do the same thing for the little sleevelets. It's just like ribbing. So the pattern calls for twisted ribbing. I don't like twisted ribbing. it's not just that I don't like doing it. Like I haven't done it enough to really develop a preference on whether or not I actually like doing it. But I don't like the finish of twisted rib. I feel like it doesn't give the kind of like stretchy suck-in structure like a regular rib does. I feel like it stays more open when it's twisted rib. And so I like the sucky inniness of regular rib. And so I never do twisted rib. I always just change it to regular rib. And this called for twisted rib, and I did not do that. I did regular ribbing, like that. So this is really cute. I like it a lot. I think this is such a cool pattern here. There, that's what it's supposed to look like. I'm wearing it over a dress. So far, I have found a couple dresses in my wardrobe that it fits really well over. Yeah, I haven't found anything like with sleeves or that like comes up to here yet that I think looks good on me in it. So far I've been wearing it over sleeveless dresses with like a low neckline, and I think it looks really cool. It definitely has to have the right kind of skirt to give me the right vibe. Otherwise it can look weird with the wrong kind of skirt. But I found two, this is one of them, that it looks really good over. So I really like it. It's the Bifurca Vest by Teddy Luxac, and I really like it. There's also like a pullover version that has long sleeves. That seems cool too, but I'm not gonna make it. I'm happy with this project. Felt really good to finish like a garment. I haven't done that in a little while. Okay, let's move on. Something else. Let's do whips. So I am working on some whips. Am I good? Am I good? Is the lighting good? I know the lighting's kind of weird. Sorry. Whatever. You don't care. Here's a sock that I'm knitting for my son, River. I decided I wanted to knit River and Lucy socks because I have not knit them socks since they were babies. And so I let them pick from my like leftover already caked up yarn of fingering weight stuff. River chose this. This is a Moonstone Dyeworks yarn. It is Christmas on Mars, and it's on the Stellina base, which is sparkly. I don't know if you can see it, but it is. And it looks like this in the cake. So Moonstone Dyeworks is my hand-dyed yarn small business that is currently on indefinite hiatus, just so you know. And but this was the very first Christmas colorway that I ever came out with when I first started my business in, I don't know when, I have no idea. No, 2016? 2017? I don't know. I'll get back to it at some point, I think. I don't know. I want to, but I am not doing it right now. So this is a top-down sock, and it's a 2x2 rib. I cast on 52 stitches, and I'm doing a stockinette sock with a heel flap and gusset, and I'm almost done with the foot. So that's the first one. I did this thing that I thought might be helpful to me, where I traced my children's feetsies and like took the measurements and everything. I don't know if that's actually going to be helpful, but I did it and I have that now. So I'm knitting this, and I also knit my other cool splotchy self-striping socks on the same needle size. It's a US size 1. I like my Chiaogu Mini Twist interchangeable needles. They're really, really, really good for magic loop. I just like the tips a lot. It's like that Chiaogu lace tip. And the cables not only are interchangeable, which I'm an interchangeable devotee. I can't use fixed circulars. I like interchangeable needles for everything. And so having sock interchangeable needles is really great. And the cable is just so flexible and wonderful, and it's the best I've ever used for socks. And I've knit a lot of socks, like a lot of socks. I mostly don't have them anymore, but I've knit a lot of socks. Like I bet it's over 50 pairs. I should count. Should I do that sometime? Maybe I'll do that sometime. This is editing Tommy. I just counted, and it's at least 64. There are 64 pairs of socks in my Ravelry projects. but I know that there have been some socks that I've made after I kind of stopped regularly updating my Ravelry projects. So it's got to be more than that, but at least 64. I don't, like I said, I don't have most of them anymore. Some have fallen apart. Some have gotten to the point where they just like didn't fit anymore, or I didn't like them anymore. I gave a bunch of them away. I actually went through, I did a video once where I went through, I think I just went through all my socks. Or maybe I went through, I think I went through all my socks. Or maybe I went through other stuff too. I don't know, but I went through a bunch of stuff and like did a keep pile and a like get rid of pile. And somebody in the comments asked for the socks. So I sent somebody a whole bunch of socks. And then some, I mean, a lot I've given away. Yeah, but I've made a lot of socks. Anyway. Here's the tag for that Desert Vista Dyeworks yarn. I won this yarn in a giveaway from Desert Vista Dyeworks a long time ago. And here it is again, because this is the yarn that Lucy chose for her socks. So once I'm done with Rivers, I'll make hers in this yarn again. And I don't know, maybe I'll try hand washing them for that first wash, but they are just going to get thrown in the washing machine because, like I said, I don't mess around with socks and hand washing unless I have to because they're non-superwash, but it'll probably happen again, but I don't think she's going to be too picky, but I think it's fine. It's fine. It's going to be fine. So that's living in my cool little emerald bag. This is pretty much my sock bag for everything socks related in my life. Oh, next is a project that I haven't, like I put down for a little while and then I finally picked back up and I'm very happy with it. So this one is a crochet project and it's living in this project bag that I made myself. I don't like making project bags anymore because I don't like sewing because I'm one of those people that like I love the idea of sewing and I have all the stuff and I like want it to be a thing that I do for myself in my own wardrobe, but I just can't. Sewing. I don't really enjoy it. So anyway, I did go through a pretty heavy bag making phase though, and it's lined with snail fabric and it's unicorns in the meadow. So happy I have this bag. The project that is living in that bag is called the Terrestrial by Mermaid Cat Designs. It's a crochet. It's meant to be like a, what do you call it? Like something you wear over a bathing suit. A cover up? It's supposed to be like that, but I'm making it for myself to be a dress and I'll like wear it over like a slip, like a black thing, like a black sleeveless dress thing. And I'm making this in, I don't have the tag. I do have the tag. This is Knit Picks Comfy Fingering. And this is a cotton acrylic blend. It's 75% Pima cotton, 25% acrylic. This is in the colorway Cabin. And it's a rich, warm brown. And I bought 10 balls of this. This is the yarn that she calls for in the pattern. I have made one of Mermaid Cat Designs patterns before. It was a tutorial on her YouTube channel. It was like a cropped tank top thing. And she pretty much designs all of her crochet patterns in this yarn, in Knit Picks Comfy. And I made her other pattern with a sock yarn, like just a fingering weight wool and nylon sock yarn. And the drape was really weird. And I just wanted to try her patterns with like the yarn she uses because I just like wanted exactly what the sample was, just like this. So I bought 10 balls of this, which is what my size calls for, which I think I'm making the smallest size. I could be making the second to smallest size though. And I got this back when Knit Picks was having like a really deep sale. And this colorway in particular was like $2 a ball. So I got this for like $20 for like 10 balls. I was very excited. So here's where I am. You start at the top, like, so this big panel here is the top back. It'll go back here. And you crochet down until you get to the bottom of the armhole, and then you pick up stitches on the shoulder and you knit down like the front. And then you pick up again over here and do the same thing, and then they will all join at the bottom, and then, no, they don't, they do. They join at the bottom at the armhole, and then you end up crocheting the whole thing down, but unattached at the front, and then you seam it up the front at the end. So I crocheted the whole back panel, and I crocheted the whole front panel, and everything was fine. And then I picked up stitches for the other front panel, and I was off. And that happened one evening. And because I was off, I was like, fuck this. I don't want to think about it. And I put it down for like 2 months. And I finally picked it up one night, and I looked at it and I was like, okay, where did I go wrong? And I was like, oh, this is like super easy to fix. So I like fixed it, and it was like so much easier than I thought it was going to be. So far all I've done is like this little bit here since I picked it back up again. But I am definitely like feeling this project again. And it's a crochet kind of like all over lace work sort of deal. And I'm just really excited about it. It's I think supposed to be like a summery kind of thing, but I think this is gonna work fine for me in the fall and winter. Hopefully I can get it done pretty quickly. And I really like the fringe at the sleeves. And like I said, I think it's just gonna be cool like over a black slip or something with like black leggings. And I'm excited to have this and to wear it. I'm on my second or third ball right now. And this is being crocheted on a 3.5mm tulip hook, which is my favorite kind of hook because it's soft and comfortable and pink. Duh. So that's that. I have one more thing. I have one more thing, and then I'm all done. So my next thing, and my last thing, and kind of the thing that I'm mainly focusing on right now, is in my Fat Squirrel project bag. It's a sweater, and it's being knit using my very first countdown calendar for yarn. I have never had an advent calendar. I've never had a yarn advent countdown calendar before, and I've always wanted one. And so finally this year I got one. I got the Spun Right Round. I got the Spun Right Round Halloween countdown calendar. So if you happen to have that and you don't want to spoiler, you may not want to watch this part because I have opened the entire thing. And I have knit almost all of the colorways so far. So this was a 13-day advent countdown. I have a big window in front of my living room, so anybody that goes by my house can like see right in, because it's like just like the whole wall is the window. And someone just parked right in front of my house right now in a big camper. Are they coming up here? Just opened their door right in front of my house, and now they're leaving. Did someone get dropped off at my house right now? I usually hide when this happens, but I'm kind of conspicuously sitting in front of a camera on my couch right now. And now the chickens are barking. What happened? Who was out there? I don't think they're coming to my house. Sorry. Okay. Okay. I think we can proceed. So, this was a 13-day countdown for Halloween. She suggests, from Spun Right Round, suggests that you start opening it on October 19th. It is October 14th today. So you get 13 mini skeins of yarn, 20 grams in her classic sock or whatever. Classic sock. And each mini skein is labeled with the date. But I decided I wanted to do I wanted to do like a countdown. I don't know if you can hear the chickens, but they're just being funny. I decided I wanted to do like a countdown project where I knit, you know what I mean. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. So I started the Radvent cardigan. Let me just get to the freaking point. I started the Radvent cardigan, which is a cardigan by Amba O'Brien, and it's meant to use a 24-day mini skein advent calendar. I have a 13-day one, but it's gonna be fine. I did some research. And my original plan was to open them in order as I went and surprise myself each time I change colors and add a new color to this cardigan. I got a few skeins in though and realized that I can't do that, and I'm just gonna be mad if the colors like look stupid in the order that she put them in. Not that I don't trust her, but she doesn't know what I'm doing. So I decided to just open them all and then put them in the color order that I wanted, and so that's what I did. And I'm gonna show you right now, and most of the colors are in what I'm gonna show you, so be forewarned. Here she is. Okay. This is a sleeve. So the Radvent cardigan by Amba O'Brien is knit from side to side. So you start your sweater at the cuff, and this is a contrast skein. Also, I wanted to open them all to make sure my contrast skein was gonna like look good with all the colors, you know what I mean? Like I was just stressing out by the whole surprise element, so I just opened them all. And I'm happy I did. It was still really fun. This is skein yarn, and this was sent to me as a gift by a viewer a while ago. And I thank you so much because this is such a beautiful skein yarn, and it's going to go so perfectly in this sweater. So this is skein yarn, and I've never used skein before. This is El Merino, 100% extra fine superwash merino in the old rose colorway. And so you start with your contrast color, which is the cuff color. And this is knit on size US 6 needles, so it's a pretty loose gauge. And then you make your sleeve, and it's a bat wing sleeve. So you increase as you go, and you change colors every however many rows. And these are all the colorways in the advent calendar. It's so pretty. So I've gotten to the point where I've increased for the body, which was a really, really interesting way to do it. So I have all these sleeve stitches in a tube, right? And then once you get to a certain point, you do a Turkish cast on, and then this is your body. And then you start working flat back and forth instead of in the round. So you're knitting from here, here, and then you hold your stitches. And then you start this sleeve the same exact way, and you knit from here, here, and you seam up the back and leave the front open, and then you pick up for your ribbing stitches, and then you go back and do a bunch of ribbing stitches along the bottom as well, or whatever. So yeah, I am on color 11, I think. Let's see, 1, 2. See, these first three colorways are pretty much this. They're not the same, but they're similar. And these were the surprise ones. And it's when I got to this third colorway that I was like, okay, I got to see what's coming up because I can't handle it. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, this is the 9th colorway, really? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's not right. Is that right? That's not right. I have that. I also labeled them all. So like they all have these little tags. And then this is supposed to be there's my little label. Guys, did I mess up? This is 10. Oh duh. Oh duh. So that's 9. And then my 10th colorway is just like a couple rows in. You can't see it yet. Okay. That's fine. Everything's fine. So the calendar Came in a really cute, like, just cardboard shipping box. I have since thrown it away. It had like a cute little thing on it, but it's in the recycling now because I'm not sentimental like that. But it came with this Ouija placket, is that what it's called? Gauge, needle gauge, which is like cute and stuff. And then here are all the minis. That's yeah. So I am really happy I chose this project. I spent a long time trying to find what I wanted to do. My other big idea was to make a cozy classic raglan light by, I'm sorry, I forget her name, but I'll put it on the screen. Jessie May. The cozy classic raglan light by Jessie May, because it's a fingering weight, top down raglan, and I was just going to make it striped. But then I decided to do this. This is kind of my gauge swatch, so I did start the project once and then rip it out. So I started it and checked my gauge. I like knit this much plus a little bit more, and I stopped knitting and then I blocked it, and my gauge was tighter than what it called for in the pattern. So instead of going up a needle size, because I didn't really want the fabric to be any looser, I liked how it was here, I just went up a pattern size. So I kept my needle at a size 6, which is what the pattern calls for, but my gauge is a little bit tighter, so I went up a size. So I'm making this 3rd size, I think, instead of the 2nd size, which was my original plan. And I think it's going to be fine. I have been getting a little, I've been paying attention to my yardage, because it's 20 gram minis, and down here you only use like 3 grams, but up here you use pretty much 10 so far, and I'm done increasing, so whatever I use of this next color is what I'm going to use for the rest of the colors. And I think it might be a little more than 10 grams, and so that isn't going to work because I have to do this all over again with my remaining yarn. So I need to not use more than 10 grams because then I won't have enough to knit the other side. Hi, it's me again. So I'm realizing that as I'm talking about the yardage and stuff and the weight, it might be confusing, and what I neglected to kind of clarify is that since this pattern calls for a 24-day advent, so it calls for 20 gram minis. So you're supposed to knit half the pattern in days 1 through 12, and the other half the pattern in days 13 through 24. Since I only have 13, I am splitting my 20 gram days in 2. So I'm doubling up on the thing. Does that make sense? Yeah. Also, what I forgot to mention is that I don't have it here. Oh, the cuff. I'm working on this as I edit. The cuff skein and the hem skein is a very dark colorway. And after the whole self-striping socks fiasco, I was scared that it was so dark it might bleed and ruin the rest of my cardigan. And on socks, I don't care that much, but on a sweater, I would have very much cared. So I did the step for that yarn where while it was still skeined up before I caked it up, I did a citric acid soak, which is like an old trick you can do if you want to kind of set the dye a little more, like just, it's like extra insurance, because that's what, as yarn dyers, we do to set the dye when we're dyeing it originally, is that we oftentimes will soak it and dye it in citric acid. So I have citric acid because I'm a yarn dyer, and so what you can do at home if you're worried about, I think it's either like bleeding or fading over time or something, I don't know, I learned this from the Knit More girls years ago, is that you can just soak it in a little bit of citric acid before you use it or whatever. And so that's what I did to see if I could like prevent bleeding, and it actually did. Just, sorry, I'm being even more confusing here in editing Tommyland. Anyway, I soaked the skein, my dark skein, this one, hold on. Oh my gosh, here we go, okay. I took this before I caked it up and I soaked it just in like tepid water just to see if it was going to bleed, and it did. It bled a whole lot, like a whole lot. It was very dark water. So I rinsed it and then I soaked it again in a little bit of citric acid, and then it didn't bleed. So then I rinsed it and I dried it, and now I'm using it. And when I blocked my little swatch sleevelet, it didn't bleed or anything. So there's that I thought I should mention too. Okay, back to the stuff over there. Okay, bye. So what I have done, what I've decided to do, is to just knit the stripes from here on out. I'm knitting until I have 10 grams left, or half of whatever mini skein. I'm knitting until I've used half, and then I'm gonna switch colors. And I'm just gonna take notes of the row that I've switched colors because it's going to be sooner than called for in the pattern. And I think I might need like extra yarn, like some extra other yarn to finish it off. Just like one, I think. I think I'm going to probably be like maybe 10 rows short. Maybe 5. I don't know. I'm not going to need that much extra yarn, but I might like go back to one of the beginning colorways where I didn't use that much and just put an extra little stripe of that in. I'm not sure yet. I haven't figured that out. But I'm pretty much going to use a lot of the yarn that came with this countdown calendar. So I'm very excited about that. So this is my Halloween cardigan with my very first countdown. So this is pretty much the what it's going to be like. And then I'll do it on the other side. And then they'll meet in the middle. And I'm very excited about this project. I think it's going to be really cool. And I'm just excited to be doing like a countdown calendar, like as I go, you know what I mean? Because I've always wanted to do this, and it's fun. I'm having fun. Okay, that's it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate you spending your time with me here on my YouTube channel. And what have you been working on? Have you been working on your fall projects or your winter projects, or is it spring where you are and you're working on summery things? Tell me about it in the comments and we can chat about it. All right. I hope you're having a great day. If you liked this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And in a minute, YouTube's going to tell you a couple other videos you might want to watch, so maybe you go watch those. I don't know. I don't know what you're going to do now. What are you going to do now? What's next on your agenda for today? Okay, I gotta go because I don't know what I'm saying. I'm bad at saying goodbye. But goodbye. I love you. See you next time.